All right, right now we're joined by security expert Steve Adelman. Rio, obviously a huge target for any would-be terrorist. The entire area is on high alert. Is this, in your mind, the perfect place for a terrorist attack?
Well, it's certainly a very prominent place for a terrorist attack. There are going to be literally millions of eyes watching the events of tomorrow night and the next 2 weeks. So if someone is intent on doing harm, they're going to have a lot of eyeballs watching them.
Now, what's different about this Olympic security versus previous Olympics?
Well, every Olympics is a big deal, and certainly the opening ceremony is a massive security issue. What's different about Rio is a couple of things. One, there's simply more and more active terrorist threats now than there were even 4 years ago in London. So the threat of terrorism is, I think, more realistic. Second, the location of most of the Olympic ceremonies in Rio de Janeiro is itself an issue because of the location of really grinding poverty so close to where most of the Olympic grounds are located. So it's both the time that we're in a really bad period of world terrorist threats and the location close to abject poverty.
I'm wondering, when you have so many people pouring into a country from other places, on a scale of 1 to 10, from where you sit as a security expert, 1 to 10, how safe can you actually make this event?
Well, you can make it safe within certain areas. And so people who are going to actually attend the events have been warned repeatedly about where to go and, more importantly, where not to go. Stay within the areas where there are lots of security. Stay in well-lit areas. Don't go out to the favelas. Don't be a poverty tourist, because bad things may well happen. Resources are very tightly stretched in Rio. They've had lots of burdens, and they're not managing them especially well. So there are safe places, and then there are definitely places that are not so safe, and people would be very well advised to avoid them.
Steve Adelman, we appreciate your expertise. He's going to stick around with us and talk more about some of these security challenges. We appreciate you being here. We'll check back in with you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
New safety and security expert Steve Adelman knows all about it. He's back with us. We talked about Olympic security as a whole earlier at 4 o'clock, but let's try to hone in on this opening ceremony, which is now less than 24 hours away. One of the biggest events in the world. We know 3 billion people will be watching. I would think if a terrorist wanted the perfect event to strike and to make a statement, this is it. Do you think that's what Olympic security officials are worried about?
I think that's one of the things that they're worried about. Certainly it's the biggest thing they're worried about for tomorrow night. After that, it will be the usual run of security risks, and they'll be worried about all of them until 500,000 foreign tourists clear out of Brazil.
We've heard so much talk about soft targets, though, and I would think that if you're not in the ring of security where you've gone through those metal detectors and things like that, that those are the soft targets with all of the tourists that are in from all over the world, where you could really easily try to take advantage of a security lapse.
Well, that's exactly right. So once you're inside the venue, you've gone through security, you've had your magnetometer pass over you, you've had your body actually patted down, you're probably pretty safe. The soft target is the street, it's the beach, it's the nightlife, it's where people go and they're not paying attention, they're not situationally aware, they're just going out and having fun, and they assume they're going to be safe. That's the soft target. It's just being out on the street, just as it would be any place else, but ratcheted up a few times because there's so much money and so much attention. All eyes on Rio.
And because we know that these terror groups have become more sophisticated, they're very social media savvy, they've seen the news reports of security rehearsals and things like that. Is that the more likely target?
It is, but I don't think it's the only one, because there will be people watching swimming events, track and field, all sorts of things. There will be obscure events that lots of people will be watching too. And it's not just foreign terrorist threats.
Could just be local people that are upset about the country spending money on the Olympics.
That's right. Or about some drug-related issue in the poverty-stricken areas close by. So they're all different manner of threats. What we have to hope is that the security professionals are keeping their eyes on all of them at once.
Real quickly, if you had an opportunity to send your family to Rio for the games, would you?
Oh, you have to bring my family into it?
Come on. You know I got to ask you that.
I would go.
You're leaving it there?
I'm leaving it there.
All right.
I would go.
All right. Steve, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.